Hello, this is Charting Man Dan of TheChartGuys, where we teach the little guy and girl how to utilize charts to manage their own trades and investments. What do I mean by the little guy and girl? Well, we just had two directives signed halting the implementation of a rule that requires financial advisors to act in the best interests of their client. Let that sink in a little bit. The big wigs on Wall Street can play with your retirement and hard-earned money without your best interests at heart. We currently have hundreds of members taking charge of their financial future, and we would love for you to come check out a free week with no credit card required to see if our services would be beneficial on your path to financial independence as well. What we offer, we have a separate course of over 5 hours in length on when to enter and exit positions. And in terms of what we do daily, we have nightly videos, key levels updated each morning before the bell, 2.5 hours of live daily webcam coverage in the morning and in the afternoon, and over 7 hours of educational videos. All of these links can be found in the description of this video. Come check us out. Thanks for watching. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Hey everyone, checking in on the airline sector. We're going to start with jets, and then we'll look at individual names: LUV, AAL, JBLU, DAL, and HA. So jets, the sector as a whole, really bullish Thursday. Look at that volume, big time bull volume. And then on Friday, we consolidated a little bit, indecision doji, and on very low volume again. So we're on the verge of a daily bullish MACD cross. We have not seen one of those occur in 2 months. So that's exactly what the bulls want to see next week. We've got resistance of 28.49, and we're looking at support of 28.33, and then back down to the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day moving average, which are going to be lining up at the same level, 28.14 and 28.16 currently. So we did fill the gap back to the upside. And the overall trend, this consolidation on the weekly time frame, when you look at it there, it looks like normal, healthy, and bullish after a big time breakout back in August, September, October, November. So this consolidation, very healthy at this point, and we had a bulls buying the dip 2 weeks ago, and then this past week we confirmed it with some nice upside. So the bulls are looking to regain this trend and see continuation to the upside, and we're looking at the major resistance, the highest price we saw, up at 29.19. So this tells me the bulls are still in control, and this is a must-hold level from now here on out. The low of last week, 27.41. Bulls are ready to turn around this consolidation and head back to higher highs. Now, LUV is the strongest name, as I pointed out in the last video. This is a lead bull, and we have broken the high of the end of January, and no one else has done that. None of these names that I'm looking at on these individual airliners. So a very bullish break. Resistance is 54.87 and support is 54.37. You can see the candlestick very similar to jets overall. But the bulls are in absolute full control of this chart. And look at that weekly chart. So you compare that to the sector as a whole. We've got this similar consolidation. And then the past 3 weeks has just been bullish continuation. And jets hasn't had that same bullish action. But that is what the Jets bulls are looking for to occur. So LUV ahead of the pack, extremely strong weekly chart. And in terms of resistance from here, if we zoom out longer term, we can see that we are at all-time highs. So this is an ideal scenario. The market's in blue sky breakout. LUV is in blue sky breakout. And as long as the Jets airliners hold strong, it looks like LUV is going to be the lead bull. AAL had a nice oversold bounce play out on the shorter term time frames. We filled the gap back to the upside, and we back tested and held the middle Bollinger Band on Friday. That level is 46.20 support. Keep an eye on that level. The bulls ideally want to hold that throughout the rest of the week. On the verge of the bullish MACD cross here as well. And in terms of resistance, we're looking at 46.70, and then the 50-day moving average, 46.98. So AAL holding its middle Bollinger Band support, and you can see it's made a more bearish break compared to Jets, which hasn't tested its middle Bollinger Band and is holding on. AAL at a lower high and then a lower low, and they must hold this weekly middle Bollinger Band, currently 44.22 and ascending. So keep an eye on that middle Bollinger Band, because if we lose that level, that is a red flag for the bulls. We did close strong at the high of the week. The bulls are looking to play a bit of catch-up, but in terms of choosing individual names, obviously I like LUV better. JetBlue is trying to see a bounce play out as well, but it's very weak at this point. The gap to fill is up at 2090. We haven't even gotten close to that level, so it is seeing weakness. And we look at the 200-day moving average support. We bounced just above that of 1864. But the same thing, you look at the weekly time frame, very clear divergence and a very clear big-time pullback. Bulls are trying to defend the 50-week moving average support of 1893, but we are rejecting from the middle Bollinger Band weekly resistance at $20 on the dot the past 2 weeks in a row. So this is why Jets is a little bit mixed, and we have names clearly more bullish than Jets, LUV, and names clearly more bearish like JetBlue. And that is both ends of the spectrum in terms of what individual companies are doing that are making up that overall ETF. DAL also seeing a bit more of a bounce than we're seeing in JetBlue. 49.57 was the gap fill, and we filled that on Friday. So now we have resistance of the 50-day moving average, 49.55 and 49.57, the high of the past 2 days. And we're on the verge of a bullish MACD cross. So DAL is pretty much set up the same way as AAL is, holding the middle Bollinger Band support, trying to turn around the weekly trend, and that weekly middle Bollinger Band is a must-hold support level going forward if the bulls want to remain in control. And we can see we're close to a bearish MACD cross. Checking in on AAL, we did already get that bearish MACD cross, so that MACD cross isn't the end of the world. Obviously, the bulls are holding on strong, even though that bearish cross already occurred. Just something to keep an eye on DAL as well. And last, we've got HA. One of the weaker names, really no bounce playing out. This 100-day moving average resistance keeps rejecting the price, and although we closed what looks like a couple pennies above it on Thursday, right back below it on Friday. So in order to change this trend, step number one is going to be getting above the daily middle Bollinger Band resistance. It's going to be in the 52.60s on Monday, and we rejected on the last bounce attempt from that level. And you look at the weekly chart, we lost the middle Bollinger Band support. We're seeing a weak bounce attempt. We are back testing that level and rejecting from it the past 2 weeks. To me, this looks like a potential bear flag, which is after a dump, a little short-term weak bounce attempt before continuation to the downside. So I would be very cautious on HA. It looks like the bears are currently in control now. So if I had to rank these individual names, HA is the weakest. We've got JetBlue as the second weakest. DAL and AAL are in the middle. They're both a very similar chart, and LUV is the strongest. And all of those are what are giving us the overall Jets weekly chart, which is still holding on bullish overall. And we'll see if DAL and AAL can play some catch-up to the LUV bulls clearly in the lead. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be keeping an eye on the sector. There's been some nice trading opportunities in the sector over the past few weeks. See you soon.